and took the column out just to open the room up a bit. I kept all the windows, doing some sort of just upgrading our AV and our tech so that we'll be able to show films and videos. And so this is, you know, it'll function in a similar way. It's our public programming space. We'll continue to offer it to organizations that might want to use the space in the future, but all of our public programs will be here. So Community Coffee will return to Indigo hopefully this fall. We also opened up the back a little bit. Those who've ever hosted an event here know that in the back there was this sort of old kitchen, and so we wanted to make sure that it was a multifunctional space. So we added a great boardroom, and we'll go through the boardroom. We have a catering kitchen, a little tech booth, and now commercial laundry. Details are still to come. And one of the features is Evans and Leiter designed a bioswale, and the bioswale basically starts in the back of the building. It's meant to, we're still working on it, but it's meant to basically slow down water that goes into the storm management system. It's something that the city's working on that's going to be a part of sort of policy and good practice for new buildings, which is to put in systems that slow down runoff from buildings into the municipal system. So basically water will run off of the roof, right, because we have this large footprint now in the back here, flow into the pond, and the overspill of that water will be absorbed by these native plants that can really absorb lots and lots and lots of water. So basically by the time it gets to the municipal system, the water will be filtered and will be slow enough, hopefully, to allow the municipal system to actually function properly. So still, we're renovating 6 other historic properties, the main house being the oldest in 1798, so there are lots of restrictions. And Jonathan Tate, younger architect, is handling the renovation, and so we and Jonathan had to work collaboratively on how to pull the campus together, how to make sure that we have a contemporary feel, but we're also honoring the sort of, you know, traditional architecture. So they, you know, have done a really good job. For me, it means 2 architects and like extra subs and extra contractors. But like, this is okay, that's layered. But it's been an exciting project. So when it's done, we'll all breathe easier and be really, really excited. We're still kind of in the thick of it, punching out local artists. And so we had studios that we rented over on Rampart Street while the design and all the sort of acquisition of property was underway. And we tested this pilot out with 10 artists that got a studio for 5 months. And then, of course, they had a culminating show during Prospect that Deborah Willis curated. So we were really pleased at the end of that kind of all came together. But the idea was that we engaged local nominators. So some of you have been nominators. I know sometimes we ask New Orleans Film Society. We will be asking Tulane in the future now that we have a relationship with you, but we look at large institutions to small collectives. We look at institutions that are arts-based and some that have nothing to do with art. Why? We really want to have a diverse pool of people, and we understand that artists don't just function within the arts community, we function all over it. So, you know, we've gone to VELA to ask them to nominate 2 artists, and the process is, when you're nominated, you have to fit a certain criteria. You have to have lived in New Orleans at least 5 years, right? Because we want to show our commitment to the city. We're not interested in someone coming in for a short period of time to take advantage of the local program. It really is for local artists. We're interested in being a painter or sculptor. That really has to do with Joan's will and her legacy. There's a lot of flexibility, but the artist has to identify, you know, as such. You have to identify as an emerging artist, and that's a huge spectrum. We had everyone from someone who was self-taught to a recent BFA graduate to those who had MFAs. Really, so people got to self-select and define. You had to have made a strong commitment to New Orleans, so be able to articulate that this was your home, and a place that you were investing your time and energy in. And then finally, you had to articulate why and what you needed for professional development support. So we weren't necessarily with this program as interested in artists who had a very established career. We were really interested in how do we boost, you know, the emerging community that's here. And those artists were basically selected from a pool of 3 jurors, and we usually use a curator, an artist, and an arts administrator to select those artists. And they basically look at work, they look at their application. So the staff, painters and Sculptors Award is the oldest award. We've been giving away $25,000 to 25 artists since 1992. There's some other awards that we started. And Allison Hawkins, the grants director, is here. She could talk about that. There's the MFA award that was originally for young MFA students who are entering the art world. And now there's an emerging artist grant. And all of those recipients are eligible to apply for the residency. Why? The foundation board really wants to make an investment, a long-term investment in those particular artists, and they're all over the country. 12 of those recipients live here in New Orleans. So there are people like Lily Birch, Keith Duncan, Bruce Davenport, Skylar Fine. Those are all Joan Mitchell Foundation recipients and are eligible to apply. My goal is in the next couple of years, probably by 2017, is to have an open call. We'll never have a general open call. For a residency this size, it doesn't make sense. We only have 10 slots. 2 to 3 of them will always be for local artists, and so we want to make sure that we're being thoughtful both for the arts community and for the mission of the foundation. And the idea is to pick themes and geographical locations that specifically connect to the city and to the work that we want to do. So I envision us having a New Orleans open call. And that would mean that any artist who fit a certain criteria could, in fact, apply without an obligator. Other cities that I'm looking at are Detroit, and really looking at that sister city relationship between Detroit and having a geographical open call for Detroit, probably around 2017, 2018. And then we're also looking internationally at building relationships so that by the time the tricentennial hits, we build some relationships with countries that have a specific historical significance to New Orleans. So we're looking at France, obviously, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Haiti, Cuba, Mexico City, those places where there is some relationship of the work that's being done in those contemporary arts practices to the city. So we're really excited about it. It's a slow process. I mean, as those of you who are arts administrators know, you don't want to just launch everything. You really want to test things, you really want to stop and listen, and you also really want to follow the artists that you work with. So I feel like that's one thing I'm really proud of about the center and the foundation is that there's a deep investment in the artists. We're still really interested in what Io is doing, and we want to promote his work, and we want to promote what he's doing with the other 10 artists. But the other way that we want to be able to support local artists when it's not through the residency specifically is through things that we just piloted with Monica, who's the new director of the New Museum, which is studios that are really kind of workspaces that are used mostly for social practice artists. So you'll see the range in size, but some of the features are the air vent here, which comes in clean, fresh air 3 times per hour, so really changing out the air cycle. The lighting, we have clear story windows that let in that sort of northwest light. And their artists enjoy like fresh pressed juices. We moved the citrus grove here, so we've got grapefruit and kumquats and oranges and this sort of hybrid grapefruit orange tree. And this, will outfit with some benches and places. So those are all things that we still have to kind of add to the rest of the campus.